Look at that! 2 more prawns.
Thanks for clicking on the video.
I'm down here on the coast. I've got no food, I've got no bait, I've got no water. I've got a fishing rod, I've got a trap in order to catch something, but I need the bait to put in it first. Let's see what happens. If I don't catch anything over 3 days, I'm gonna lose a lot of weight and I'm gonna go really hungry. Well, it's been a few hours since the sun went down. I put the tent up on the top of the cliff, a little bit back from the edge of the cliff, and a nice bit of flat bit of grass. So what I want to do, and the moon's out, beautiful moon tonight. What I want to do now is check the traps. So I've got 2 traps on this side and then 1 over there in the gully. There's a crab on it. There was a big crab on it that dropped off. Oh, got a tangle on my leg. What have we got? Yeah, there's 2. Well, I've got 2 fish. There's a fish in there, and there's a small fish right there. Let's have a look. It looks like a rockling. Yep, that there, I'm pretty sure that is a rockling. So I guess in a survival situation we probably could eat it, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to put that back, and also I need to have a look. I've written down all the size limits of the fish and the crabs I can keep, because I have to stick to the law. Although it's not really a real survival situation, I just want to practice to see how it really would be if I ended up with a few traps, so I could make these, for example, and using the bait. Well, the bait I use limpets, which are attached to the rocks. So I'm pretty sure that is too small to keep. What I'm going to do is just throw this one back. Oh look, there he is. He's landed in the rock pool. There it is. There is the other fish that I caught. It's a little rockling. They don't really get much bigger than that. You see there, it's got 1 barb or 1 beard. You do get a species that are called a 3-bearded rockling. But yeah, whoa, and he's landed in that puddle, well, in this rock pool with the other fish. So yeah, it's not really the sort of size I'd like to keep. So because it's not a real survival situation, I mean, it just shows that you can catch a few fish using a trap like this and a bit of bait that you can collect from the shore. So those 2 fish, I'm pretty sure they're both too small to keep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them back. The thing is, when I was lifting the trap up, or the net, or the pot, I don't really know what to call it, there was a crab. It looked like a brown crab, an edible crab attached, it was gripped onto the trap. So I'm going to chuck it back in and see if we can catch the crab, or hopefully a lobster. What I'm hoping for tonight, or tomorrow morning when I check these, is to be able to have something to eat for breakfast. Yes, there are forageable greens around here that I just pointed out, so some wild plants, but I'd like to have something pretty much, you know, substantial. I'd like to have a lobster or a crab. I know it sounds crazy to want something like that when you're camping out with no food, but that is ideally what I really want to eat for breakfast. So I'm going to put this back in, hopefully. Well, I'll check it again in a couple of hours, but if not, I'll check it again tomorrow. So hopefully we'll have something more substantial to eat. eel. Look, there's a conger eel in the net. Whoa. He ain't happy. A conger eel. No way. I bet you there's loads of eels around here. Again, this is a fish I could probably eat, but I'm going to put it back. Look at it. Whoa. Oh God. These things are so aggressive. And not only are they aggressive, but they're really hard to hold. So I'm going to just probably shake the net and let it just drop out into the water. So I'll just show you guys again. There's its head. And you can see it's not a bad little size. Well, they do get absolutely huge, these things. But it's not something I want to keep. In a survival situation, I probably could eat it. But I'm going to leave it and hopefully come back in a couple of hours and hopefully find something more substantial to eat. So, right, I'm going to put it back in. So that is 2 traps that I've checked. Now the other one is about a 2-minute walk that way. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll see a crab or a lobster. Let's go. Got another eel. One more eel. Well, again, it's not the sort of species I want to really keep and eat. And again, I think it's a little bit too small, so I'm going to put this one straight back. So I've just come back up to the camp. And what I'm going to do is just get a little fire going and then cook up a bit of food. Food-wise, well, I'm going to gather a few wild greens and I'm going to steam them quickly in a saucepan, and then that will give me a bit of food to eat. So this plant here, this is called sea beet, and it's now spring, and spring is a great time to collect or to forage for sea beet, because you don't get these almost tough woody like stems with these young shoots. When these grow, when these mature later on in the year, these leaves can become quite large. So once again, perfect young shoots, and that's exactly what I'm going to collect and steam in a little saucepan. And that there is sea cabbage. This is what I've collected so far. You can see there's sea spinach all over this bit of grass embankment, which is right on the edge of the cliff. And as you look up the cliff, you can see that there is a bit of cabbage, sea cabbage. And then looking down here, there's one of my favourite snacks. However, you don't want to eat too much of this because it is quite strong. It's got a very strong flavour. This is called rock samphire, and it's got a very, I would say, carrot-like flavour, but it probably tastes more than a carrot actually tastes of carrot. So yeah, it's actually really nice. So I'm just going to pick a few sprigs of this in order to put into my mix, which will just be a greens, seafood, well, more like coastal sea plants, little steamed vegetable dish for tonight. And this is the sea cabbage, or the wild cabbage. And what you really want to do is just go for the younger shoots, or the younger leaves. Because anything too big, it'll just take too long to steam, and the stem can often be quite stringy or quite chewy. So let's go for these inner younger shoots, like that. It's always a good idea when you've collected your tinder, try and keep it in your pocket, because that way, even if there is a little bit of moisture in there, what will happen is it will dry out naturally just by keeping it in your pocket. And a little bit of the filtered water from earlier on. Doesn't need much, just needs to steam. So while that's steaming away, I'll give you a little tour of the camp. I'll show you the tent that I'm using. And that is me for tonight. I've got a roll mat, and then a sheepskin, and then I've used my sleeping bag, stuff bag, and I've just filled it with, I've got my jacket in there actually, so that's turned into a pillow. And then I've got my goose down sleeping bag. Yeah, quite a nice little tent. Give that a few more minutes. Really nice. It's got a little bit of that carrot flavour from the rock samphire. Lovely. I was really hoping for a fish or a lobster. I didn't get a chance to do a bit of fishing tonight, but what I'm going to do tomorrow is set up the rod and then do a bit of fishing, and hopefully it'll give me another chance to catch something to eat. I'm hoping for a crab or a lobster. I think once I finish this, I'm going to go down and check all 3 traps again. Fingers crossed we'll get something we can keep. The thing about what happened earlier was we've got minimum landing sizes. By law, I don't think I could have kept those 2 rockling or that conger eel because they're just way too small. Even with a crab or a lobster, they have to be a certain size. We'll talk about that if and when I do catch one. Loads of stars out tonight. There's no light pollution here at all. Well, it's probably about 10, maybe 11 o'clock. So I think I'm going to go down to the shore and check these traps. Check that one out. And there as well. More of the wild sea cabbage. Yeah, I've got a crab. Got a crab. It's not a velvet, it's not a brown crab, it's a velvet crab. You're just about to see it there. Now these things are really tasty, but I need to make sure it's the legal size to keep. So I need to get it out and I need to measure it. Oh, by the way, these things are really aggressive. They're called velvet swimming crabs. So now I need to measure it, and it has to be a minimum of 65 millimeters. Where my fingers are holding it on its back, on its outer shell, has to be a minimum of 65 millimeters from that widest point to the, well, from those 2 points there. And this one is legal. This one is 69 millimeters. So yeah, this is a keeper. Brilliant. Shame there's not any more, just the one. So what I'm going to do is stick it into this bag that I have. This is going to be my keep bag, my keep net. Yeah, we got a crab. Oh. Once again, shame it's not a giant brown crab, and shame it's not a lobster. And because the tide's quite high and there's a bit of swell rolling in, there's my other trap which is over there, the one that's 2 minutes away. I don't think I can get to it. It's a bit too risky to go over there. So I'm going to leave that until tomorrow. But the other trap is right here, so we're going to check that one right now. time. It always happens at night time. It's the best time to come out and put these pots out. So in here I have one velvet crab. Again, another velvet crab. Just see it there crawling around. Oh, there's... Have a look at what else there is in here. So yeah, no lobsters, no brown crabs, but hey, things are looking good. Things are looking good. Right, let's get this one crab out to begin with. Where is he? He's right there. And these are so aggressive, you don't want to get bitten by these. So another velvet crab. I think this one's a little bit smaller. Yeah, he's too small. He's about, this one's about 60, he's about 62 millimeters. And you can see, look, that's why they call them velvet swimming crabs, because they've got these two, whoo, I thought he was gonna bite me. Got these two swimming legs on the back there. So he is too small, I'm gonna throw him back. But don't worry, there's something else in this trap that I wanna show you. See ya. I thought it was too early in the time of year for these, but I'm wrong. So can you see, wait, let me move this rock. You might be able to work out what I'm looking at. Have a look at these, there's two of these. Two prawns. So yeah, we got some more food. Look at that. Two more prawns. I'm keeping these. So these I'm going to put in the bag as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the velvet crab out, and then I'm going to turn the camera off and I'm going to just dispatch it. And then I'll turn the camera back on and I'll put it in the boiling water. Well, the crab's in, give it about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll put the prawns in right at the end. Many of you that watch my videos know that one of my favourite foods are prawns. So I'm really surprised that I caught these actually, because you don't normally get them until later on in the year. So now the crab's had about 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to put these straight in. Oh, I can't wait. Normally it's all about cooking good in the woods, but this is all about cooking good on the coast. His claws have fallen off. That's fine. You know what, I'm gonna have to start with one of these prawns because I just love prawns. And one of my favourite parts, oh, they're hot, was the brain juice. Yep, that's right. What we want to do is crush that. Ah, beautiful. Straight in for these prawns. You can see that this one has got berries, which is just going to add to the flavour. Oh, look at it. Oh, look at that. Mmm. Yeah. Mmm. The claw meat. Oh, beautiful. Mmm. Beautiful. Mmm. Another prawn. Oh yeah. Mmm. Go for this little claw, won't be much in it. Got to be quite delicate when you open these claws up, when you hit them, because they can quite easily splatter everywhere. And that's when you turn it into a bit of a paste, which you don't want to do. Bit of shell. Now, what you want to do with these legs is you want to just bite them from the bottom up, and it squeezes all the meat out in the paste. I'll show you by just using my fingers, so you can imagine what it's like when you use your teeth. Well, you can use your fingers or your teeth, but you can see there that there lovely bit of crab leg. Mmm, lovely. And then these bottom sections, same thing. So it just squeezes out. Wow, these are good. Well, you probably don't want to watch me eat this whole crab, so I'm going to turn the camera off and finish my crab. Well, the crab was good, and the prawns, and the sea spinach, wild cabbage, and a bit of that rock samphire just to give it that bit more flavour. Which means I'm going to go to sleep, and I'll see you in the morning. Fingers crossed we get a lobster, another crab, maybe a few velvets, preferably a big brown crab, or maybe some prawns. But I've got a feeling there might even be another conger eel, because if we had 2 conger eels, then there might be another conger eel. Anyway, see you in the morning. Good night. So, after leaving this one out, this is the first one out of the 3 that I'm checking this morning. And I had a feeling I'd get another eel because I caught 2 within 2 hours last night. So it looks like we've got another one. Let's just get it out. So there we are, there's another eel, but they're too small to keep. The legal landing size, so these have to be 93 centimeters from head to tail. And this is definitely not 93 centimeters. So this one's going back. But it's not all bad news because we've got a nice sized lady crab here. And just from judging it by the claws, the size of those claws, I'm pretty sure this is a keeper. Oh yeah, that's well over. That's well over. That one's 74 millimeters. And remember, the legal size for these, on the top shell bit here, which is called the carapace, that there has got to be 65 millimeters or more, and this one is 74 millimeters. Absolute beauty, and it looks like it's a male. We'll save that for lunch. So I'm now going to check this trap, which is the trap that we caught 2 prawns in and a velvet crab last night. Well, so far no lobsters, no big brown crabs, but you can see there I've got 2 velvet crabs in this one. Look at that one, absolute monster. This is definitely a keeper, but let's just see how big it is. $78mm. Beauty. Again, it looks like it's another male. Yeah, nice. Nice crab that. Let's keep that. So this one's only got 1 claw. Oh, it's a keeper. It's a keeper. 73mm. Just looks a lot smaller with 1 claw. Oh, and he's got 2 legs missing. As for the other pot, I can't really check it yet because the tide's high, so I need to wait about another hour or 2. In the meantime, I'm going to do a bit of fishing. Well, the tide's gone out enough now for me to be able to get to this other trap, which is in the gully. Fingers crossed. Oh, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. One small lady crab. $54 millimeters. So with it being 54 millimeters, there's nothing I can do apart from put it back. And to be honest with you, there's probably not much food on that anyway. And just to put it into perspective, there is my tent, somewhere there. And then in there, there's an old quarry. Well, fishing is pretty hard. I've had no bites at all. I'm a bit disappointed that I haven't caught anything substantial in the lobster pots. what I have caught, most of it has just been undersized. So like the conger eel, I said it had to be 93, but actually they've got to be 91 centimeters to be able to keep them. All 3 conger eels that I've caught, they've all been too small. So yeah, I've got those 3 velvet crabs to eat. I am quite hungry. I don't really want to cook them up. I'm trying to wait until later on to cook them up, and then I'll just forage for a few greens so I can have a meal. But I haven't really eaten anything today. I had a few of those buds from the rose bush, blackberry bush. Yeah, I'm quite cold as well. I want to get my jacket, just chill out in the tent for a bit, and then give it another hour and go and check the traps, try a bit more fishing, hopefully catch something to eat, something bigger. But yeah, it's quite an interesting challenge. Quite an interesting challenge. I need to get some water as well. I've completely run out of water. I've filled it up twice, once yesterday, once today. I've finished all the water. I need to get more. So I'm going to just chill out for a bit, get my jacket, and then go and get some water. So I've had a rest. I feel much better now. My energy levels were so low about an hour ago. I'm back down here, I'm fishing. I'm using limpets, which are those mollusks that attach themselves to the rocks. And I've put one out on the bottom, as in I'm ledgering. Before I was using a float, I was float fishing. This time I put a weight and I put the bait on the bottom. The problem with doing that is that I'm probably going to lose a lot of kit. So I'm actually going to look for some small stones to tie the line around and use that as a weight. Well, I've just had a little stroke of luck. I was reeling in my bait. I had no bites on the rod, reeling in the bait, and it felt a little bit heavy. You know when it feels like there's something there, but it's not quite big enough to really be a fish. And look what we have. Another velvet swimming crab. So I think I'm going to be adding this to the catch. Look what's happened. Things have just taken a turn for the worse. Where this bag has been rubbing on the rocks, there's now a hole in it. So I've lost all 3 crabs that I caught. And that was meant to be my dinner for tonight, my breakfast, lunch and my dinner. There's nothing left in it. And there's the hole. Right there, and it's empty. Oh, what a shame. Well, I'm going to take this back to camp now and cook it up. Well, I've definitely learnt a few things. One of them is don't use this rubbish pine wood bag for keeping your bait fresh. Well, that's just really disappointing. I was sitting here thinking, right, I'm having no bites, there's no fish. Okay, let's reel it in, go back to camp, cook up those 3 crabs. I reel it in. There ends up being a crab holding onto the bait. Just as I lift it up, it drops off and I grab it before it scarpers back into the water. And I was thinking, right, well, nice, now I've got 4 crabs to cook up. But no, I was wrong. Because the other 3 crabs, they got away. So we're back to 1 crab. Hey, it's better than no crabs. Let's go. These are nettles. And then right next to the nettles, this is a very poisonous plant. It's called Lords and Ladies. And trust me, you don't want to be picking that and cooking it up. However, behind it, I can see a bit of goose grass. This is the stuff that you probably remember from your childhood. You throw it onto someone's t-shirt or sweatshirt, and it sticks to them. So I'll take a few of these shoots. Maybe one more. Which one should go for that one? Let's go for that one. And there's the quarry that I mentioned earlier. When you're foraging for coastal plants, you want to just double check everything to make sure that you've correctly and positively identified them. Oh, can't let that get away. Lovely little shoot of goosegrass. And then remove any dirt or any bits of leaf that aren't looking too good. Get rid of that. More rock samphire, break that one up as well. There it is, beauty. Definitely a keeper. When it comes to using one of those traps or nets, whatever you want to call them, it's usually best at night time, because that's when the creatures tend to come out of their hiding places under the rocks and in cracks and crevices. That's when they come out on the feed. In the daytime, I've never really had much luck. So I'm hoping, it's getting dark now, so I'm hoping in about 2 hours time, I'll go down again and I'll check them to see if there's anything in them. Remember last night, within 2 hours of it getting dark, I caught 2 conger eels, a few velvet crabs and 2 prawns. So I'm hoping to catch more prawns tonight, fingers crossed. I've not had much luck though when it comes to catching decent things or good things to eat. And I think I'm gonna give up on the hope. I'm gonna let that hope go for the lobster and the big crabs, because I don't know. I thought it would be really good here for lobsters and crabs, but I think next time I'm going to go down to a different part of the shore that I know is really good for lobsters. It's a place where you've seen me in the past. I've been out and I've caught loads. I've caught 3 or 4 in one night, whereas here they're not to be seen. And this is it, this is my meal. Again, there should have been 3 more of these. Oh, I love that stuff. We'll start with a claw. God, those birds are noisy tonight, all the seagulls. Look at that nice bit of meat in there. And look at that nice little nugget. That's from the knuckle. Where's my fork? Bit of sea spinach, bit of nettle as well. Look at that nice bit of meat right there in the claw. In the body, there's lovely bits of meat just above where the legs are, but it's really tricky getting to it. Oh wow, lovely white meat. It's actually nicer than the claws. Bit of shell, but it's really soft shell. So it's not too bad. Well, the food was good. It's given me that burst of energy. I'm now going to go down and check the traps. one velvet crab. And it looks like it could be a keeper. I'll have to measure it in a minute. Another male. Yeah, perfect. Anything else? I'm hoping for a few prawns. No, nothing else in there, just some weed. Let's get rid of the weed. Right, let's put it back. $60, 66, 1 millimeter over. Keeper. Well, there's nothing in that one. And nothing in that one. But the sun only went down about an hour ago, so I need to give it another few hours and then I'm going to come back and check them. Well, I've made it back to camp. I've just put some water in this. I'm now going to boil this water and then cook up that one little crab. Well, it was just over the legal size. Cook up that one crab that I just caught. Don't worry, I did kill it before throwing it into the boiling water. So I've just realised I'm almost out of water. I've filled this 3 times so far and I'm going to have to go and fill up again in the dark because I need more water. I'm going to finish that within the next half an hour to an hour. And then, yeah, it means I'll have water for tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, and then for the walk back. So yeah, I'll have to go and fill it up. I'd love to catch one of those giant mud crabs. Is it in Australia you get them? I think you get them in Australia. That'd be amazing. Oh. It's such a shame that I lost those other 3 crabs. But not to worry. Not to worry. These are such a great snack. That's literally what they are. They're a snack. And hopefully hopefully I'll have another snack before I go to bed. Because at the moment I'm not eating much. The thing is, if I was allowed by law to keep what we caught yesterday, being those conger reels and even the rockling, I'm not sure if I'd even eat a rockling, but I guess in a real survival situation, if it was a real survival situation, and I was to end up with what I had being, you know, the ability to make a few traps, whether that being using natural cordage or netting that's washed up on the beach, or even weaving something together like a willow trap, or even ending up with a bit of fishing line, or making a few hooks from anything from a piece of wire to carving it using anything, well, a piece of wood or you know, a thorn or something. If I was to have ended up with those fish that I caught yesterday, I think I could have eaten pretty well today as well, just from yesterday's catch. Right, let's get into this body. Get rid of these bits because you don't want to eat those. And then that lovely white meat right there. So to get to the white meat, get rid of those bits. Dead man's fingers, don't want that. Soft shell on the inside of these. Really fiddly. But look how much white meat there is in there. Oh, good. A little bit on the crunchy side, but it's all good. I'm hungry. Anyway, I want to finish this crab, chill out by the fire, and probably update you shortly when I'll be down at the shore checking the traps one more time. Look at that lovely bit of meat there. Oh, nugget. Whoa, look at the size of that. That is a monster. Look at the size of that. That is an absolute monster of a rockling. I didn't even realise they could get that big. This is a legal size to keep. However, I'm not going to keep it. Only because I've caught so many rockling in my years of fishing, and I've never caught one this big. This is huge. This is huge. I've never seen one that big. Oh look, it's got a deformed fin as well. No way. You know what? I'm gonna let this guy go, only because of just of respect. I've never seen them this big. But look at it. It's an absolute beast. These things never get this big. Anyway, I'm going to let him go. Wow, that was pretty impressive. Okay, 2 more traps. Let's go. Well, I'm back at my tent. I've left the pots, or the traps, whatever you want to call them, in the water. Hopefully tomorrow morning we'll get something to eat. The rockling, yes, I could have kept it, but I put it back because I felt sorry for it. So I'll see you in the morning. Good night. This is the first one that I pulled out today, and it seems like it's a better haul than the ones we had yesterday and the day before. However, I still don't think there's anything we can keep. What I did yesterday was I moved it from one gully to another gully, and I think I found where the brown crabs have been hiding. So this is a brown crab, but he's just way too small. A brown edible crab. And we're looking for his great granddad. Six, he's too small. And there's another rockling. But he's too small as well. Nice big lady crab in this one. Definitely a keeper. This is a nice one, good size. I'm going to keep that one. I've just put the fishing rod out as well with some fresh limpet. Nothing in that one. So it looks like I've got one crab for breakfast. Yeah, it's going to be another tough day. But I could always gather a few limpets to go with the one crab. this is my last meal. I've got the one crab and I've got a load of limpets in here which I've cleaned, removed the gut sack, and I'm going to put these in for the last minute. You don't want these to cook for too long because they go really chewy. Yeah, not too bad. Not my favourite, just from the texture. A little bit of crunch there. But yeah, not actually too bad. You could probably eat those all day. If you weren't picky, like me, just wanting crab. But yeah, you could quite easily eat those things all day, those limpets. Bit of brown meat. Oh. Best one yet, this crab. Best one yet. So many seagulls. Last one. Well, that is it. That is my breakfast. Time to finish packing up and head back. And it's just started to rain, which is quite good timing. It hasn't rained the whole time I've been here, for 3 days. Well, that is it for this video. It's been a nice location to camp at. It's been a good few days. I've learnt a few things. Limpets aren't very good when it comes to catching big crabs or lobsters. I did catch, however, I'm surprised that I caught a few of those eels on day 1 and day 2. But I can't complain. I've eaten fairly well. I think as long as you have a little bit of knowledge of what you can find, forage and catch and eat, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to what you know. I don't know a lot, I don't know everything, but I know just enough to survive 3 days on the coast with a water purifier. But yeah, it's been really good. So thanks again for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Let me know if you like the video by giving it a thumbs up, and I'll try and do another one sometime soon. Maybe a different location. Goodbye.